Here we go. September 11th, 2023. The big day. Sure, there's going to be lots of things on the news. You know, the news is kind of like this. It's kind of like this thing that just drones on constantly with people getting killed and earthquakes and politicians, that's politicians. Look at that. But, it kind of reminds me of that animated movie, Wizards, where the bad guy had this machine and it was like, I think it was kind of like, what it was kind of like a big screen TV that just showed like war footage and stuff like that from World War II of people bombing and attacking each other. And it was like making everything all chaotic and the animals going crazy. And it was just like fucking up people's brains, man. And sometimes, I don't know. I feel like the media can be I'll say the 24-hour news cycle can kind of be like a thing where it's like just this constant droning thing that just sucks you in. And I'm not saying, I watch the news, but sometimes you have to find something to do to disconnect from it. But, 9/11, there we go. There you go again, 9/11. It's 9/11 is kind of like a funny thing. Not funny, haha, but it's like sometimes you have these moments in your life where it's like something happens and it's like a news story or an event, or it could be something actually happening to you or someone you know. And you have to give like a double take. You have to, there's there's this thing kind of pulling in the back of your mind like, dude, what was that all about? you know. And it's like it's funny, it's like it seems like the further I progress in life, the more of those little anomalous blips kind of pop up. I remember the first thing that was really weird that I saw on the news a long time ago when I was a kid. And this one always stuck with me because it was just like, what the fuck? There was some dude and he tried to break into like Steven Spielberg's house and like kidnap him and like shave his junk with a razor and like torture him or something. It was like the weirdest news story I had ever heard at that point. Now it's like, this day and age, shit. This day and age, it's like shit. You get a weird news story like every freaking week. At least every week. There's something weird going on, and it don't look good. But everyone has their theories of stuff, and there's a big theory of everything. I kind of have I don't know. I guess that's a kind of theory of everything. if you listen to enough of just me rambling on or trying to process crap in my brain, you can kind of get the flavor for it. Basically, you have like you have you've got space, you've got energy, and you've got matter or the material universe. And you've got, everything's got those things. And you've got stuff constantly like there's birth, there's life, and then there's the kind of disintegration process. And just, but when you really look at it, when you drill down, it's like matter, energy. It it changes. Change is the fucking constant. But there's still energy. You can quarantine it for a long time. You know, depending on your method of doing that, I guess. But it's gonna eventually something's gonna change with it. That's why I don't know. It's hard for me to imagine some kind of permanent, unchanging thing. I mean, there is a thing there that endures, but can you name it or put a label on it? I think it's a very dynamic thing, so it's hard to do that. I mean, people try. Goodness knows we've all had our little spats, and disagreements on this is this and that is that. This is the way it is. That's all I can tell you. It's like you got space, you got time, you got matter, and you've got things coming together, being sustained, and then falling apart. And I guess time is, I don't know, time can be like the most potent equalizer, I guess. But shit, you have as much time as you have. It's like if you make time for one thing, then you won't have time for the other thing, and vice versa. But 9/11 is like it. It woke a lot. It made people ask a bunch of questions. I don't know if it woke them up because people. I don't know. We still seem to be doing the same shit. We've had like what? President Bush, President Obama, President. I had to actually think of it. Like, who were the last fucking president? That's how painful these last couple of years have been. We've had President Bush, President Obama, President uh, President Trump. That went over real well, didn't it? And President Biden and Biden. I don't know what to say about Biden, but hey, he's Biden. It I don't know, could be a lot worse, guys. I know people they're not too thrilled with Biden, but come on, what are you gonna do? you know, but it's like these little blips keep coming up, and it's like the world is changing. It's already fucking changed, man. And it's like I think it was 1999 that the Columbine thing happened. And now it's like kids are getting killed like every couple of fucking months. And it's like we had the Iraq war with Bush, oh, it was an outrage, and they're lying about weapons of mass destruction, and yeah, I was right there with, hey, right on, yeah, something's wrong. That's what I was. There's a clip of what's that guy's name? Howard Dean, I think. No, it wasn't Howard. It was Al Gore actually. When he was running for president, and he's just like yelling like something's wrong, and that's kind of how I feel about the whole situation. The whole situation here and now that we're facing on a daily basis. It's like we're the frog, and with Bush they were putting us in the pot. 9/11 happened. They turned the pot on. Uh it was kind of like warm. Obama got in, and we were like, hey, Obama change, hope. Come on, baby, hope. It, Obama, he's all right. He's all right. Some people just love him to death, and he can't do anything wrong, and I hope Obama, yeah, woo woo. But I mean, he did stuff that I wasn't really happy with. I'm happy we got him instead of Hillary, to be honest with you, because Hillary is kind of like, I don't know, you know. Think it would have been like Obama, except for even worse. Then you would have had the people from the Hillary industry where they're like, oh, Hillary is the cause of everything. Like she blew up the Hindenburg and whatever. So that would have been a big thing. But I don't know. Something kind of rubs me the wrong way about Hillary. But it's, if you drill down on it, something kind of rubs me the wrong way about Obama, because it's like he had a mandate to me to kind of do more, and he could have done more. But for whatever reason, he didn't do it. It didn't happen. When he came in like gangbusters. Like, hey, we're changed, damn it. Oh, we ended up with two kind of, excuse me. We ended up with kind of two kind of adventures in Syria and Libya and all kinds of stuff like that. And I was like, come on, Obama. Come on, man. Then you had like Russia sending in like Wagner. I love saying that. Wagner troops into, like, I think it was Syria. That became a big thing. Russia started doing Russian shit. And it just became like this big thing, man. And I don't know. Was there another way to do it? Maybe. It always seems like no matter who we pick, we're getting these endless wars. And I think it was, and I know people think he's like crazy, and yeah, maybe he is crazy. He's got some weird things to say. But I was listening to a podcast or something with him on it, and it was Alfred Weber, if you remember that guy, the exopolitics dude, and he said this term, the permanent war economy. And I mean, come on, man. If you really examine the thing, it's hard it's hard to not agree with that concept that there is some kind of permanent war economy in the industrialized Western world. I can't drill down and say this is why, oh, it's Bush Senior, and oh, the Saudis and this, that, and whatever, and oh, it's the aliens and the Freemasons, and they're I don't know, you know, beats me. All I know is we just seem to keep running into these wars, and now we got the Ukraine thing, and I don't, I, when are we just not going to have a war? When are we not going to have a war and then, like, not gear up for our plan for the next war? It's almost become like Monday Night Football. Like, you have the off season, for it's a little short while. Everyone's talking about, oh, who's getting traded where and who whatever, and then we just have the next fucking war. So I don't know, it's depressing to me. That's why over my life, I've consumed a lot of news, but sometimes I'll just disconnect and just listen to music or listen to an old movie or something. Cause it's like, what's the point, man? Everybody, if you sit back and you actually process what's going on, everybody should know that something is not working here in the system. Somebody's gonna have to revamp the fucking system before it just collapses in on itself. you know. I don't know. That's my take on the thing. Beats the heck out of me. I don't know how well I'm coming in, but I guess we'll see after this is done recording. You might hear some noise in the background, but it's okay. It's all part of the show. My mouth still feels kind of funny, but I'm just muddling through it. I hope I don't sound too weird. I'm moving around a lot too, so I don't know if I'm gonna come out weird or not. But that's all I'm saying is space, matter, energy, birth, life, that sustaining life force, and then the disintegration of that life force, whatever that is, whatever you want to call that. You know, I don't. I was thinking, and I'm gonna try to make this like a quick, as quick as I can be, YouTube. But I was kind of thinking, that's a scary thing because my mind kind of jumps around from thing to thing. But I was thinking the singer Sheryl Crow is kind of, when you look at it, she's kind of like Sailor Moon. It's like, because they had those little public service things after Sailor Moon. Like Sailor Moon says. Well, Sheryl Crow says stuff too, And Sailor Moon and Sheryl Crow, they've kind of, they're both saying the same fucking thing. It's like, all I wanna fucking do is have some fun. And at the end of the day, if it makes you happy, it can't be that bad. But if it makes you happy, why? Why the fuck are you so sad? Because I'm like, dude, you know, something's gotta fucking give, man. I mean, hey, she will never turn her back on a friend. If you know what I mean. And she's the one on whom you can depend. And hey, that means you. Whoever the fuck you are, whoever listens to this, that means you. But I mean, think about it. Think about it, man. Sheryl Crow, fucking Sailor Moon. Figure it out. Hey, it's your thing. It's basically it's all our thing. But I guess what I'm trying to get across is we're responsible for yeah, we all bear some responsibility for how fucked up things can get. And sometimes the answer is just listen to an old CD or watch some old episodes of Sailor Moon. Because you're not going to solve anything watching Fox or CNN or anything for fucking 24 hours a day. Hey, I watch a lot. I still watch a lot of CNN and C-SPAN. I like the, what is it called? Washington Journal, I want to say, on C-SPAN. Because you can kind of, dude, it's like anyone who wants to call in, they just let them call in, and sometimes they just have open lines and you talk about whatever. And it can be peculiar at times, but you're not hearing the same thing. You're hearing a lot of the same thing, but you're not hearing the same thing out of every single freaking person. So I don't know if you can stomach it. Sometimes just watch that, because you can get a better gauge at like what's going on in the in the minds of the American people. I think better than watching something like CNN or Fox. That's my opinion. You know. But like I say, all I want to do is fucking have some fun. I'm not trying to hurt nobody. That's all I've got to say. My motto is do no harm. You know, you've got, well, in China and in Japan, places like that, you've got the idea of like the character Lee, which is like can be roughly translated as organic patterns, like the patterns in jade and the grain in wood. And it's like, at the end of the day, dude, it is like that Trent Reznor song, "We are down in it." We are down in it. We're part of that pattern, that organic pattern. We can we can try to assert our dominance on it, on the natural world and the natural way things go and come and go. And we can get really talented at that and good at it for a while, but, can only do that for so long. And it's like, how much are you willing to lose just to do that? That's my question to everyone. You know, you have you've got the idea of the butterfly effect, like everything is affecting everything, and to me, from my understanding, that's kind of like the Hindu or Buddhist concept of Indra's net, or the Aboriginal or indigenous concept of Spider Woman. I mean, it's a web, it's a net, it's a, it's, it's a pattern to it. You can. It doesn't mean you're psychic or anything. If you just notice some of these patterns and notice the kind of the speed in which they keep increasing, and it's like, I don't know what the shit's all leading to. That's my thing. Is it gonna be like Skynet, like Terminator 2, or is it gonna be like Evangelion, or some shit like that? I, yeah, I hope not. Shit, that's all I can tell you. Hope. Shit. But I'm trying to say is, there are, you know, there are patterns, there are organic patterns. There was a guy, I was listening to a podcast. I'm always, I'm always saying watching but half the time I'm just listening to shit because I can't. At this point, I can't see like super well anymore. But I was listening to a podcast and this guy was talking about some of the First Nations, indigenous people, and like beadwork. And if you're gonna buy something and someone's telling you it's a real item made by indigenous people and it's beadwork, sometimes just look at the patterns and look at some of the beads, and some of them might be off, or there might be a bead missing here or a bead missing there. And more than likely, if you see that, it's probably more than likely an actual thing coming from an indigenous person. And it's like, at the end of the day, there are patterns, but there are, you're not bound to like follow the pattern. Like, if your great granddaddy was Joe the plumber and every firstborn son was a plumber, you aren't obligated to become a fucking plumber. If you have a passion for animals and want to work as a veterinarian or a pet shop, or you want to work at a bookstore, or whatever, whatever you have a passion for, just uh, sometimes maybe it's best to do that. I would say a majority of the time, give it some thought, but don't just rule it out and feel like, oh well, Joe's my daddy, so I gotta be a plumber. Cause maybe you're just not cut out to be a plumber. I don't, I don't know if I'm making sense or anything, and it shit makes sense to me. But where was I going with that? Organic patterns. That's all I'm saying. They're out there. It happens. Doesn't mean that oh, if I can predict everything, I've got the answer. I've got the cure. Shit. That just make me. I've got Reznor on the brain tonight. That just made me think of that. It like a whole line of God, money's not looking for the cure. Good. Sure. Sure seems like that, doesn't it? Out there. Some of those lines from those old ass songs. And I guess they're old ass songs now, but they weren't old when I was young, but they just stick out like a sore thumb. Cause dude, look at the fucking pill commercials now. They're singing and dancing. It's like, the pill commercials, it's more of a musical event than the actual music that they play on TV. And the radio, if people still listen to the radio. Your iPod, whatever the hell you got. I don't know. I guess that's about it for me. All I would say is if you have if you have some sort of oppressive feeling or force that makes you feel like you want to bludgeon somebody or lash out, you always have a choice. You know, think about fucking think about Sailor Moon and what Sailor Moon says. All I want to do is have some fun. If it makes you happy, it can't be that bad, right? After all, if it makes you happy, then you shouldn't want to be bludgeoning people. That's that's my take. Hey, that goes for me too. Sometimes I feel like, dude, all the time I feel like just fuck it, roar, and I just have to disconnect and decompress my brain. So I'm not counting myself out of it. You know, that's shucks. I guess that's about it. I could say more, but I don't want to be here all night. 9/11. I've child of firefighters and people that got sick and that are sick. I wish you well. I hope you get the money due to you for you know treatment and shit that you need. The you know I hate I hate the fact that the thing happened the way that it did, and that people are still fighting, trying to get money for like people from 9/11. It's like, can't we do? We got money for these wars. You can definitely pay for the people who took it really bad in the 9/11 situation. But hey, but all I'm trying to say in a nutshell is the choice is yours, and sometimes the best choice you can make is just when you get that feeling, when you get that desire to act on something that's kind of destructive and will probably, to the best of your understanding, cause more disharmony. Do you? I think me, Sheryl Crow, and Sailor Moon can all agree that the best course of action sometimes is just saying to that thing that pops into your head, whatever it may be, just saying.
Fuck you.
And sometimes that's all it takes. You know, you have the right to do that. And I would say exercise that right. Anyways, sorry to sound this kind of wacky, but 9/11, there you go. I I hope you enjoy this or get something out of it. Happy trails, and remember, do what Sailor Moon says.